And let's make sure that education remains the passport to opportunity in America. And I want to start with more early childhood education. Let's have more help with families so they can get off to a good start with their children. Let's have universal pre-kindergarten so 4-year-olds get a chance to get ready to go to school so they can be successful. And I want to end the unfunded mandate known as No Child Left Behind, which I do not believe is working. There are better ways. There are better ways to have a partnership with the federal government. You know, the Bush administration imposed the No Child Left Behind program, said they would provide the funding, and did not. So I don't believe it is something we should continue. We ought to have a different approach. And I personally don't think that we should have one size fits all. I don't want to turn our children into little test takers and our teachers into big test givers. I don't think that's the right way to have an education policy. And let's make college affordable again so that every single one of you can afford to go to college. Now, it was a lot cheaper to go to college 30 or 40 years ago as a percentage of a family income. And there was so much more help available. You know, when I went to college, my family could afford to pay for room and board and tuition, but if I wanted to buy a book, I had to earn the money, and that was our deal. So I worked and contributed and got through college. Then I decided I wanted to go to law school. And I told my father, and he said, well, that's not part of the deal. So if you want to go to law school, you have to go on your own. So I kept working, and I got a little scholarship, but most of the money came from borrowing money directly from the federal government. It was a program some of you might remember called the National Defense Education Act. So I borrowed the money at 2% interest, and then I could pay it back. And I didn't go deeply into debt. My family didn't go deeply into debt. What's happening now is so heartbreaking. In the last week, I've sat down with a family in Los Angeles, a wonderful, middle-class, hard-working African-American family. And they said to me they had 2 daughters. They had to take out a second mortgage on their home to send their older daughter to college. And they were worried because they were 10 years from retirement, they wouldn't get it paid off before they had to get it again to send their second daughter to college. I do not think a family in America should have to refinance their home to send their child to college. There should be enough help to send that child to college. And as I have gone around the country, I have asked young people, what's the highest rate of interest you're paying? And I'll tell you, I nearly fell over the other day in Minnesota when I'd had somebody already say 12%, 18%, 22%, when a young woman said 27%. The student loan companies are ripping off young people and their families, and we need to stop it. Let's get back to direct lending with low interest rates. And for all the young people here, I want to give your families $3,500 tax credits so that they can use their own money more efficiently to send you to school. We want more direct grant programs like the Pell Grant. But here's the other offer I make. If you don't have the money for college, if you are willing to do 2 years of national service, I would provide up to $10,000 per year that would go directly into paying your college costs. And if you graduate with debt, or if you have older brothers and sisters who are going through and they're going to graduate with debt, if they're willing to do a public service job like teaching or nursing or law enforcement, over time we will forgive their debts so that they can come out without having to be so worried about paying off their debt.